We are deep in the throes of Clan v Clan on the verge of moving into our more game fusion. Guys, welcome back to the channel. This is your girl, Wicked Raider 22, coming to you with an update in the midst of a couple of current events that are taking place as we prepare to finish up the month of October, waiting for our next Halloween moment. So, as you can see, Clan v Clan has about 10 hours left. My clan is really pushing hard for our second victory. And I'll tell you guys this. Number one, it is always awesome to have clan members that are pushing as hard as you are for a victory. So I can say nothing less than thank you to everyone that has joined the clan, everyone that has remained active in the clan as well. And this has been a battle the entire time. We actually fell behind by about 40,000 points on yesterday. And so it's been very much so a rallying cry to get everyone pouring in as much as they can. And that's been the push. Now, there are always some things that you learn each and every competition. And this Clan v Clan, honestly, is no stretch. We've actually just moved up. So I'm excited. We're now level 2. Now, there are a couple of things that I've learned this time that I didn't know before. And of course, as always, sharing is one of those things. So, with each Clan v Clan competition, you guys know that the personal reward piece is going to rotate in every other competition. Clan v Clan pops up every 2 weeks, roughly, beginning on a Tuesday, closing out on a Thursday morning. And the time that you're looking at to compete, roughly about two days, and I'm Central Standard Time, so 5 a.m. is going to be the cutoff. The biggest thing that I've learned is the power of booking your champions during this period. You receive more points booking champions than probably any other method, especially for my early game players. So, what I did this previous or this current time, I saved my books. I had quite a few epic books, rare books, that I had saved up from competitions, logging in tournaments previously. And I figured out pretty quickly it was a great way for me to start off my champions with a chunk of points. So from the very beginning, one of the things that I realized it's hardest for me to save shards. Guys, when I get a void shard, when I receive honestly any shard, I instantly want to go in and open those. But I've learned my lesson. I pick and choose who I would like to upgrade, how I would like to upgrade that champion, and then I move forward with them from there. So I knew that I had a couple of your epic skill tomes. I have pushed myself not to use those on rare champions. I wish they were legendary. There are a couple of legendary champions I would love to upgrade at this point, but trying to decide who I would like to upgrade with my books is always going to be the biggest challenge for me. Now, I have acquired a couple of champions. Probably on this account, I got most excited about getting Marquez. It is not my first time pulling Marquez, guys. I've had her previously on my pay to play account. I did what a lot of champions have done, and I mean, a lot of players have done, and oh, I felt it. I actually ended up feeding her in order to 6-star another champion that I had. And I was picking, it was early game. I want to say I may have even used it on my first legendary that I pulled. And I had to pick between Marquez and Diabolus. I would have picked Marquez, which I did the first time. The second upgrade, she didn't quite make the cut. And as soon as I let her go, I absolutely regretted it. And on the account where I used Marquez, oh, so disrespectfully, I have not pulled her again. So when I pulled her on this particular account, I was so excited. She is an amazing, amazing rare champion. If you have not done a little research on her and you recently pulled her, I highly recommend that you go in and you just kind of study my girl a little bit. Now, I do have epic tombs that I want to use, just kind of show you the points value. I think I'm going to put these on Taragi the Frog. I haven't had a chance to upgrade this guy at all or book him out. And so I'm going to go ahead and book him 2,000 tournament points. So just one book. If you are logging in for the first time for your clan, of course, you have to at least give 1,000 points to the clan to be able to start collecting rewards. That one book just did it for you. And so I've definitely learned why a lot of people will resource farm and save all of their resources until they come to this particular portion of the game. I know that I love Clan v Clan. It's one of the areas of the game I get most excited about. I've been working on several accounts. And on this one, it's kind of the same, getting ready to 6-star champions. I definitely want to make that happen as well. There are a couple of areas. This CVC is a little bit different for me because, guys, they are really warming up. They're warming up and coming for us. So I've got to get started. But the 2 times areas for this particular competition was on champion objectives, which wasn't bad at all, and also on dragon objectives. And the problem is the value. The value here is not great. So even if you're beating stage 25 dragon, you are literally getting 150 points. Like, guys, that is like this is kind of low. So I don't know. I feel like last time we did a much better job. The 2x when it came to champions. I mean, if you pull a legendary champion at this point, boom, you're at 10,000. If it's a new legendary champion for you for the first time, 20,000. When you are upgrading, you're getting several points as you're ascending champions. I've had a couple of ascending moments for epic champions going from level 5 and 6 where you're getting 500 points. Legendary champions, if you're ascending those up to 2,500 points. But for some reason, I get to this, Dragon's objective and it's 150. Like, you can't be serious. And even with you doubling that to 300, it's not very impressive. In the last CVC, the Forge really, really, really saved my team. But I think by far the number one thing that has pushed us and allowed us to stay slightly ahead of the crew is because we've had several players and members of the clan who actually save books. And so that's going to be the biggest thing. I'm just using my space bar to go ahead and send my girl up without having to come out of the screen or anything like that. That'll remind me also to make sure that I hold on to her for a little while. It's a couple of champions that are like that. I'm trying to save ascending champions the same reason. And as you can see, like, you're not getting very much as you're ascending certain champions, even based on level. So this was a good time for me just to really go in and use those skills. So it was just time to really use skills. The good thing on this account, I can honestly say I have both Marquez and Diabolus, and I have a video on both of these champions. By far, Marquez was my favorite nuker previously. Really, really, really have enjoyed having her as a part of the team. The other thing that I'm definitely going to start doing, and I'm going to push myself to do, if I have champions I am not currently upgrading, not currently working with, I'm going to push myself to actually vault those champions. So I currently do not vault epic champions. I know some people are like so cringing right now, and I fully understand it. And I should. And a lot of times I will use those champions as food. Like, they're not my favorite. I'm not looking forward to building them out at all. And so I literally will use them as food. And what it does is eventually I come to a portion of the game and realize I could really use that champion in another area. And so instead of doing that to myself, I'm going to go the extra mile to vault them, save them for later, and keep in mind that sometimes those champions will be buffed. Now, another area that I've been working myself through, I have made it to brutal on this particular account. And so I'm excited about that. I definitely want to be able to make it to stage 6, start running for those speed boots in particular. And so you guys know normally I will run through with 2 champions and then go back through with the entire team. And so campaign has been a lifesaver for me. I've done really good as far as just kind of playing with champions, seeing who's able to mix and match with talents and skills. It is really nice to go through and listen to those videos that give you a little in-depth look or approach to champions. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to run them singularly on teams to kind of see where they fit when it comes to your particular account. The other thing is, guys, it's the importance of silver. During this, during the last day and a half, I have probably burned through more silver than I would like to admit. And one thing that helped me severely for this particular CVC is the fact that changing gear or artifacts on your champion, the cost of it was cut down by half. So I've really taken advantage of that with both my epic and legendary champions, especially when it comes to 4, 5, and 6-star items of gear. It can sometimes be 20,000 silver, 40,000 silver just to move one piece. And so if you can go in for half price, I would definitely recommend taking advantage. Now, here's the overlap. And this is what I realized too. I have to be careful about the calendar of events and tournaments because I'm getting to the portion of the game. My highest account, I believe I'm level 56. So, not necessarily early game. Maybe I consider myself probably early mid game. Now is the time for me to really start looking at how my champions are geared and how my teams are being built. So, I feel like those are going to be my areas of the biggest learning curve. And the good thing about CVC, it allows me to kind of pace myself because I have a number that I'm chasing. I'm always trying to at least give 30,000 points for each account that I have connected to my clan. And so, and that's also the number that I'm pushing members to aim toward. And you won't always get there, but it's a good number that if everyone in your clan can get you to that point, that would allow you to earn points across each tier. And it's kind of what you're looking for. The other thing I have to be really, really cognizant of is as a clan, making sure everyone is remaining active in between. So many of my clan members are also free to play members. We know the biggest thing that we give up is going to be time. So where you are able to cut a couple of corners sometimes because you have maybe some extra energy, extra silver that you purchased. That's not going to be the case when it comes to your free to play accounts. And I have several free to play accounts in the clan that are actually outperforming some of the pay to play. So it just depends on where you are in expectations as well. For you guys, for Clan v Clan, I know several of you guys definitely look forward to the moment. Where are you pushing the hardest? Do you always go for those areas in 2X, or do you kind of look at your account and see what do I need to get done, knowing that probably leveling up your champions, forging or campaigning or farming for gear is going to be the most important thing for you. So where's your focus go? Do you have an overall number that you're aspiring to, or is there a certain number of upgrades that you would like to make? Let me know in the comments. I definitely would love to hear from you guys. I wanted to do an update just to kind of give you an idea of why personally I push so hard in Clan v Clan. I know that there are some people who love Arena. There are other people who love Doom Tower. Different areas of the game can definitely appeal to different types of players. So let me know in the comments where you guys are, what you like the most. If you are participating in this current one, do you think you're going to be successful? And we'll check back tomorrow, kind of do an overview of how we performed. Any more takeaways at the end of the day, because there can definitely be some late night, last minute pushes as far as accounts to get and squeeze out the last bit of resources. And so this will be our second competition. We definitely want to come in with the win, but I will keep you guys posted. If you don't have a clan, please join us, 22WK. I will leave the little hashtag for it in the description. You're always more than welcome to join in. Every 2 weeks, we get to kind of, flex our strength a little bit so we can move up and kind of join the ranks of those clans that have been doing extremely, extremely well. I mean, I've seen teams where a single player, their lead whale, is putting in 300,000 points on their own. And that's the kind of motion that I'm really looking for. The other thing is, I'm always looking at the easiest way to not only acquire points, but to also progress my team. I know we have the fusion run coming right after CVC, and that's going to make it a little resource intensive. So there will be moments when you have to choose: will I participate in this event, or am I going to save for this tournament? They come so quickly and rotate through so quickly. It's easy to kind of, just kind of lose your focus and not end up with the resources that are needed. We just came off of the Deck of Fate, was another one of the tournaments that I know a lot of people were thinking about going for, but I made a video on it for you guys, and just looking at the amount of currency that will need to go in, 1,000 pumpkins per card really wasn't worth it for me. I can say I had a chance to turn over a few cards just based on my regular activity within the game, but it wasn't going to be my focus. I did see where another creator actually went in with the sole purpose of, I'm going to flip every single card, and like 58 million silver in, still had not flipped every card. The rewards were certainly not worth it. I'll be honest, the Game of Fate was probably the worst competition for Plarium that I've seen so far in Raid Shadow Legends. So I did not get very excited about it, but I'm pretty sure there were some people may have had the luck of the draw, so they were ready for it. I just really didn't fall into that category. So and it's kind of hard to say. It's always easy to look at something on the back end after it's been released and kind of say, well, I wish they had have done this. I know it was the first time, really running that particular type of event, but it was not so much the fact that it was 1,000 pumpkins, which early game, I wish it was more like 500. There's a difference if I am level 60 and up, 1,000 pumpkins, okay, fine. But if you're running an account, you're level 20 or 30 or 40, you're probably not going to be running enough events to actually go through and acquire that many pumpkins that many times. You're looking at 3,000 pumpkins just to turn over 3 cards to attempt to have a chance that they'll match so that you can, get a chest. And so the likelihood of that alone wasn't great. And being that you would flip over some cards and you were getting like maybe 5 or 10 gems or a little energy or brews, and those are things that are given just for logging in. So it wasn't the most exciting. I think if it was more food driven, shard driven, book driven, it would definitely make it a lot more exciting. Even if it was 6-star gear, for example, maybe some of your rarer pieces were all on the epic cards. Since there were so few cards there, will probably make a difference. So when you have the overlap of events and tournaments where you can earn points for both, those are also areas that I kind of look at. Even if they're not 2x points for my clan, if I'm earning in 2 different areas, I consider that to be helpful as well. The other thing I will actually do during CVC on purpose is not only level up champions, but this is also when I am trimming down what's available in my vaults. So if I've been holding on to champions or really pushing my food champions, this is when I go in and I utilize all of those champions. I often go from maybe a list of like 30 or 40 down to just my, core 8. And so I've just leveled as much as I could to kind of see how far I can push it. With every account, and I'm coming to the point on this account in particular, it's time for me to kind of make choices of, will I go back and run food champions from, a 1-star, level them up and take them straight through, which I think once I'm done with brutal, that will probably be a good thing to do. I can go back to early, maybe early hard is what I'll do. Run my main campaign farmer and then take my 3 food champions along the way from stage 1 all the way to stage 12. So that's kind of another idea I've been kind of toying with here and there. It's playing different ways to see which is the most effective way for me to be able to level up in the least amount of time with the least amount of strain on my resources. I can definitely say the pinch of silver on accounts has really been felt. And so even with selling of gear, you can only do that so much. I think with my older account, my first and second account, probably I have a little bit more flexibility because I earn more gear based on the areas of the game that I play in the most. But when you start getting to the point where you are farming directly for masteries, for example, you're not going to be pulling as many shards from that area. You're not going to be getting gear as if you're running through Ice Golem or Dragon's Lair. And so you're really having to kind of trim yourself back and kind of figure out what do you want to do. I'm going to run these two guys through as many levels as I can. And then once they're defeated, I'll actually go back and run my team to the same points. And then honestly, after CVC is done, I'm going to be running food champions the entire time. So I'm going to run food champions from this week all the way through the fusion events. I should be able to acquire a couple of points on that end. That'll be pretty good. Oh, my girl just went down. Ethel, no, she can't go down. Let's see if we run it one more time, if we can keep her up. So once I'm able to just kind of run them for 2 weeks, whatever shards I have, especially in the area, if you're not doing arena, if you're, especially with tag team guys, don't forget you have access to books and also shards in Bazaar. And so even if you don't like arena per se, if you're running it just enough to earn those gold bars, it's an easy way for you to go through and pull that shard, even though it has that cooldown, period. Eighth was just not going to make it through level 3. I'm probably going to replace her with Ultimate Death Knight, and they can easily clear this one. You guys see my boy Host Ring. I promise you, not the strongest champion. I know so many people that do not love my friend, but I'll be honest, he's a champion that I use on a regular basis, to be honest. Early game, he has proven to really be a game changer for me. And so I'm tempted to go in with Painkeeper, but I'm going to go in. Let's try Ultimate Death Knight, see if he's able to do it. After this, I'll run those 80 multi-battles. My goal is actually to make it to stage 6 to see if I can get some speed gear. Afterwards, start working on lifesteal because there are a couple of champions I would love to run in lifesteal for the next few levels and few competitions, only because it'll definitely allow them to stretch a little bit better. So I won't make this one any longer, guys. I just wanted to definitely do an update and let you know what we're doing over here. It's been great talking with you. And of course, you guys keep gaming, and I will talk to you soon.